Hi, Kellyanne. Welcome to the show.
Hi, John. Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I read a little bit about you. You have written a lot of books, 31, I think, to be precise.
You are correct. Yeah, 31.
Wow, that's quite impressive. Let's first start with you telling me and the audience a little bit about yourself. Where you're from, how you got to the point where you wrote books, 31 of them, in fact, and so a little backstory on you.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So I grew up on Long Island. So I'm a New Yorker and went to school in Indiana, went to IU, and then moved to Charlotte upon graduation, Charlotte, North Carolina. So I've been in the Southeast. I graduated college in 1990, a few years ago, and I've been in the Southeast ever since. And I started out, I worked a corporate job for several years with General Electric and kind of moved into quality with them. And then I had my son, and going back to a corporate world was not going to happen for me. So when he got a bit older, I went into the preschool arena. I started teaching, and then I went into administration. So kind of every role I've had, I start at one place and I move to another, which is exciting. And as he got older and some things happened with his health, I realized I couldn't have full-time work. But I did, our family did a ton of investment work on properties, and we did it ourselves, DIY. And so I was constantly involved in projects, actual physical projects, landscape, painting, demo, all of that, and also the administration of multiple properties. So that took up my adulthood for the most part. And then I find myself on my own, no more projects, just myself and Teddy Roosevelt, and my son Ryan Michael is grown and an adult man, man. And so I didn't start writing until March of 2022. And when I started, it was the floodgates opened up for me. And I haven't stopped writing since.
So you started writing in 2022. We're recording this in 2023. It's only 1 year. 31 books. I know that for children, from what I read about you, are these fairly short books then?
Well, they average 19 to 21 pages.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And they're modern day nursery rhymes.
Oh, so cool. Really
They
neat.
all rhyme. Yeah, they all rhyme. And they're all experiential. So each book is based on an experience that I've had. And so they're layered. They're layered, first of all, for entertainment, pure and simple. But then beyond the entertainment, there's always a lesson in the experience that I've had and that I relate through my poetry, which becomes the nursery rhyme.
Okay.
And I started writing in March of 2022. And I really had 27 books with illustrations completed in 14 days in April of 2022, and had all 31 within the next week. And I actually had more, but I did have to limit myself. So I said 31, that's the longest days in a month. So if I did 31, that's one day, a book a day from me for a child.
So these are meant to teach children something, kind of invigorate them to think a certain way?
That's not really what I do. I write my poetry and my nursery rhymes, and I let the child decide what it means to them.
Okay.
I just present them with a story that's entertaining and charming, with amazing art that just grabs them and pulls them in, and their curiosity is ignited. And they become an active participant with my story.
Mm-hmm.
So really, each child is going to be met where they are with my books. And it's not something that I really say is meant to happen. Now, I did write synopsises, and that took a lot of work.
Right.
I submitted, I wrote everything in April and submitted everything for publication in July of that same year. And then by the end of September, everything was published.
Wow.
So, And then by the end of this year, a year, so September 2022 is the anniversary of publication for all 31. By September of 2023, I have them all audio and video formatted.
Wow, that's very impressive. Even though they're short books, 31 of them. What got you to the idea that you're going to write books like this? How did that come to be?
It was very organic. So I did a lot of work on myself, a lot of work, a lot of healing work, big healing journey. The more work I did, the more the world and the universe opened up to me. So I did all this work, and I'm in a healing program, and there was a journal prompt. The journal prompt led me to write my first poem, which is My Name is Mountain, which became my first book. And I thought it was an only child. I thought, oh, this is interesting. I didn't. Next thing there's 30 more very, very fast. So I thought, well, they were poems, but I knew they were meant to be converted into stories for children. I just knew it intuitively. So I just got to work on a single purpose. And all I could think about was getting these books in the hands of children.
Right.
Because they're a layer of support from everything from encouraging block play and encouraging them to take something with wheels outside a door to something as drastic as loss and grief and endings. So in 31 books, the number of experiences that I touch on is incredible. And it makes it so that a parent, a caregiver, a librarian, a teacher can go to a book and say, this is for dreaming. This is to help a child sleep. This is for, let's say, I have the inclusive wall. This is about inclusivity.
Oh, great.
So each book brings its own unique personality and characteristics to the child. And the child decides where they're at. And I believe if they read them over and over, which I believe they will, because they'll be charmed by them, they'll glean something different every time.
Okay. You've been called an uncommon author. I'm beginning to understand what that means. You want to give me your definition?
Just basically, I didn't set out to write or publish anything. I was doing my world in my life. And the next thing you know, the poetry is flowing like crazy in a big, bold, beautiful way. And I find that to be uncommon because I didn't set out on this path. Now, I do say it is my purpose and my mission, but it wasn't a career path. I did study marketing and telecommunications at Indiana, but that was more from advertising perspective and not from writing. So to be living one life and then suddenly start writing at this level and this magnitude I believe for the world, the children worldwide, that I feel that's uncommon. I don't feel that's I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right. And you say marketing. Marketing is part of writing. That's where a lot of us authors have struggles with, because we're artists, we write, and hopefully people will buy it. But if you have an edge on marketing, then you may have gone backwards marketing to writing. Writers need to learn marketing, but you seem to have that already. That's really good. Now, what age group is this for?
Well, when you write children's books, you pick an age group and a genre, and mine is 4 to 8.
Okay.
However, a lot of my books, I have found 8-month-old children, like The Morning Good with my polar bears and my northern lights. 8-month-old babies love The Morning Good. And so, and up to 80-year-olds love my books because there's something about them that resonates no matter how old you are. But the genre that they are marketed to and for is 4 to 8.
Okay. All right. I can see a whole bunch of them behind you there. And you held up your book. It looks like a fairly large book. It's not your standard 5x7 or whatever, what is it, 8x6? I forget now, but your regular size. So it's a square book there. I'm looking at it. That's a neat thing. Who did the illustrations for you? Oh, the beautiful books. Very
Oh
beautiful. I
gosh.
love them.
That's an that's another part of the story. I look, I didn't even have a computer when I started writing.
Hmm.
My name is Mountain. I wrote it on an iPhone and a 2017 iPad and a completely on the fritz laptop that had been refurbished. So I didn't even have a computer. And my TV went out and I couldn't get it replaced for the life of me. I paid and it wouldn't get delivered. And 10 times, I would say. Then I finally realized I need a computer, not a television. So went and got the Mac. And this is when all the books are coming really, really fast. And I found there's an illustration subscription platform called iStock with millions of illustrations. I found the art to match my words to the point that it looks like I had my own private professional illustrator.
Wow.
It was this cosmic, amazing adventure. The art was waiting for me, and I was waiting for the art. And it just hit in a fantastic kind of way. And I was able to illustrate 27 books in 14 days.
Okay, I'm beginning to
Because,
understand. I mean, that is uncommon. That is really uncommon. Beautiful. So these are royalty-free illustrations then.
well, you pay a subscription fee.
Yes.
And then if you get to a certain number of sales, which I hope to get to, no, let's just say I will get to, then you do a different thing with licensing, but it's quite a few that you have to
Mm.
sell before that's a thing. But yeah, no, without iStock, you wouldn't have what you've got behind me, and you wouldn't have, you know, uh, the art like in the Catcher Dream, and what it allowed for is the different kinds of art that I utilize to communicate with the children. So it gave me such a vast array of different types of art, right? So you've got this kind of art, and
Mhm.
then you've got this kind of art.
Yeah.
So it's just, I can't explain how fantastic it was. And I'm so grateful to these folks that I don't know, these artists that I don't know. And I can only hope that I somehow bless them through their work. That's all I can hope for.
Yeah, for sure. Do you yourself interact with children, perhaps at book fairs or in schools?
I'm starting to, yes. And I just love every second with them. In
Mm.
my neighborhood, see, I paint as well. And I'm just starting a little painting club with children in my neighborhood. So I just am so blessed.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Now, how are sales for you for these 31 books?
On the rise. They're on the rise. I've been so busy with the production of the audio and the video and just trying to get my name out there and get the books out there, coming from virtually nowhere in this world of publishing and this world of marketing and this world of promoting. And so it's growing. It's strong and steady. And so many worldwide companies have picked up the books, which just does my heart such good. And I'm just being given opportunity after opportunity to show what I've done here. And every opportunity, I just take it with gratitude. And I just know and I trust that everything is meant to be as it is. And I just have that knowing and that sense of calm. And I've got more to do. I have more. I stopped at 31. I did hybrid self-publishing. So there's cost involved in that. So I stopped for several reasons, one of which was cost. So I have so much more I want to do. So as my current collection brings in royalties, I'll use that money to invest in my future works.
That's the way to do it. Perfect. Well, I call this show Tell Me About Your Book. So, but in your case, are we able to do that with 31 books, or do you want to pick a few of them and talk about those specific ones? How do you want to work this?
Well, gosh, I can talk about a few if you'd like.
Sure, please
So
do.
so I have four series. So as I wrote the books, I didn't really understand it at the time. When I did the synopsises, I realized the books they came in a birth order. The 31 have a birth order. And then within the birth order, they're in categories, 4 series, okay? The classics, the essentials, My Name Is, and The Rainbow's End. And so in the synopsis, I discuss what number the birth order is and what series the book falls in. So The Catcher Dream is a classic. I mean, if you could just see this art, it's just incredible. So The Catcher Dream is one of my more serious books, and it's about boundaries. And it's about having the child assess how they feel when they encounter the catcher dream and doing a self-check and giving them permission to speak up and say, hey, this doesn't feel right, and do their own learning by feeling what the catcher dream creates in their own system. So they may recognize it at another point in time if they need to. And see, I flip titles. So instead of dream catcher, it's the catcher dream.
Mm.
So instead of a quiet night, it's the night quiet. Instead of all inclusive, it's the inclusive all. So you'll see me play around a lot. So then you've got my end of the rainbow. So the boots rain instead of rain boots. So
Wow.
at the end of the rainbow, I can create any event that I want, because obviously a boots rain wouldn't necessarily be safe. I care about safety. However, at the end of the rainbow, anything can happen. This is about individuality. And this is about the boots falling from the sky instead of the rain, and the boots being on the ground. And it's just about individuality. And this is at the end of the rainbow, it gives me permission, and it allows me to create different kind of events to get my message through. So this is about all the magical boots fall from the sky. Like the colors are wet and the boots surprisingly dry. And by all accounts, no two boots were the same. So this is about individuality. And then you've got the My Name Is series, right? So this is about positive, healthy discourse. This is modeling conversation about observation between the child and the narrator. So it's about what the child is recognizing and stating it, and then what the narrator, so in this case, it's light. And in this case, light does resemble what it says it is. But in the My Name Is series, you're going to discover, does it or does it not? And allow the child to do some problem solving. And it's about self and identity and stating who you are, you know, at the end of the day. And then an essential, one of my essentials is The World Small instead of Small World. This is about connectedness. This is about we all tuck under the same sky every night, no matter where we are geographically in the country. And that I've noticed when I do my travels through the world small, that children have common ways to play, no matter where they live. They love bubbles, they love chalk, they love blocks. So it doesn't matter where the child lives, they are connected.
Well said. Have you got your books into libraries at all?
They're digitally, yes. But what I would ask is anyone who's interested or likes the stories to go ahead and talk to their libraries about getting the physical books into the libraries.
Yeah,
you know, and all 31. You just
yeah,
you need the whole collection.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's a process for that, I understand.
Yes, there is. And what's so funny about my journey is I always find things out later. You know, I'm just doing my thing, and then it's like, oh, you know, I didn't know that's how that worked. And all of a sudden it's just working for me. So, you know, I do my thing and the universe just responds for me. And I do say I'm grateful that I was trusted with the universe with these stories, because I feel fortunate to be the one to bear them and to birth them and to raise them along with the children of our whole entire, these are for the whole world. This is for the childhood collective, all the children.
Well, my child is 38 years old, but when he was a child, I would have bought every single one of your books. I would have had a blast reading them to him and have him read it as well. They're just wonderful things. Back to the illustrations. Are there illustrations within the book inside?
Oh, yes.
Let's
Oh,
let's take a
yes.
look at a few of those.
Okay, so like the world's small is this kind of art here, where it's almost like a paper cut, or you see this layered, right? Look at this, right? So that's day into night, right? Look at this. You see this lovely that we are all under her blanket with a tuck in just right. That's how I talk. See, I bring in nature and the sky and the stars and the earth as a connecting feature and a thread that's woven throughout my books, right? Because that's something every child can look up and see the sky and the stars and the moon. So this is like one type of art. And, at the end, she bids us goodnight. So that's one type of art. Then you've got, gosh, if you look at Catch Your Dream, this is more serious art because it's a more serious topic. So the art is going to match the topic, right? So if you look at this is a totally different feeling than The World's Small, right? Look at this. Look at this art.
Beautiful.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's just phenomenal. And and it matches. You wouldn't believe how it matches. Look at this. Yeah, this I kind of think of a little bit of Poe
Yeah,
influence here.
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
My dear Edgar. My dear Edgar is a little bit in this book, I think, right? So then you've got, well, gosh, then you've got like the inclusive all, right? This is
Yeah.
all peacock, all peacock.
All right.
And it's about a journey to a distant place. Well, it's an exceptionally decent place, but it does take a journey to get there. And everything nice there organically interacts. Look at this.
Wow. You
And this
must
is dedicated to, I'm sorry, this is to the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.
hmm.
Look at that
You must
art.
have been totally thrilled when you found these illustrations. That was half your battle won right there.
It was so organic and meant to be. I was in such flow that it was, I say the poems came as easy as breathing. So did the art. It's almost hard to put into words how beautiful, how natural, and how important it was. Because the art is as important for a child as the words,
It is. Yeah.
because it creates that feeling and it gets the curiosity. So you can't have one without the other. The art without the words, or the words without the
Sure.
art.
Of course. Yeah.
We don't have this collection of 31.
Yeah. Tell us the process. How do you make a book like that?
Well, first I had to train myself. I got the computer. I had to train myself on current software. I wasn't even really current with a computer. So I found something called Canva. Canva allows you to do a manuscript, a picture book. It's one of the choices, a template, right? So you choose the template in Canva for a picture book. Then you can do the words or you can do the art. Then you go to iStock and you create your storyboards, right? So you're scrolling through millions of pieces of art and many beautiful talented artists, and you create your storyboard. So you start clicking and saving and pulling and pulling. Then you go back and I would put it under a title where I thought it was going to live. Then you go back and you reduce it down to around that 21 number, because you need the cover too, so 22. And then you download the art to Canva. Then you place it in the manuscript and the storyboard of the Canva book. And then you do the text. And then you save all that. And then you have to put it in a particular format. And then you find your publishing company. For me, it was hybrid. It was Balboa Press, Hay House. And then you submit your materials, and you also write your synopsises. So when I do say all that out loud, it was quite a bit of work.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It didn't feel like work because it was a gift.
Mm-hmm. I guess after a while it becomes formulaic. By the time you're in your 14th or 15th book, you know what you're doing by that point, right?
Absolutely. It was just so normal, natural, like making coffee and walking the dog. In fact, I was writing a lot when I walked the dog, right? So, that's Teddy Roosevelt, the bear Teddy.
Mm.
And he's in a lot of my books. I do a book called The Tail Fairy, Tail Fairy, instead of fairy tale. And it's the idea that animals can be a support, right? So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
raised on the old fairy tales of old, right? Where the rescue and the knight in shining armor. Well, what if the animal was the fairy tale, right?
Absolutely.
Mine is.
Mine too.
Teddy Roosevelt is. So I play around a lot with things like that.
Okay. I'm understanding now Teddy Roosevelt is your dog.
Yes,
Okay. All right. Got it. Does your dog actually respond to Teddy Roosevelt or
absolutely. Yes, he's
mm,
very presidential. Mhm.
wow, quite the mouthful. That's really good. You're so bubbly. I imagine you've always been happy, but having written these books, is it making you happier?
Oh, I can't. Yes, yes. I feel really blessed, lucky. Getting to where I am today, that was a journey and it was difficult. And there was a lot of things that I overcame to sit here today and speak to you about these stories.
Mm,
But I would not trade any of them because without those experiences, would I have 31 nursery rhymes for children? Absolutely not.
mm,
Would I have more waiting in the wings? Absolutely not. And here's another thing. I'm curating my grown-up poetry collection right now. I have poetry for grown-ups. And oh my gosh, they are going to be extremely impactful. I have so many that I'm writing constantly. So this whole world and the painting, even painting now. So this whole world opened up to me. And yes, joy 1,000%. And my books carry that positive tune. Even when I'm addressing difficult things, there's always resilience, there's always optimism, there's always success, and I'm always uplifting because that's how I have survived on the planet. Why not share that with our youngest folks,
yeah, yeah.
youngest children?
We're recording this mid-November 2023. Christmas is coming up. Are you hoping to get this into some stockings?
Oh my
Big
gosh,
stockings, I imagine.
the snow last. I'm participating in the Jingle Books. It's an event in December, and I'll be reading from the snow last. So this is instead of the last snow, and this is about endings, but it's also about beginnings. Because even though there was a snow last, it was also the beginning of another season past.
Right. Great stuff. Really good. About your adult books or your, idea for writing some adult books of that nature, will they have illustrations as well?
My adult poetry, my thought at the moment is all the paintings that I'm doing matching a painting to a poem. So you'll get a double whammy from me. You'll get the painting and the poetry. And
Okay.
as I paint, sometimes I hear the poem. As I write the poem, sometimes I'm envisioning the painting. So they're very united. Now, this is not something I've worked on yet. I mean, I'm creating the things, the art and the poetry. But as the books are a finished product, this is something that's new for me that I'm in the works on. So it's a little bit to be seen or to be announced. But I will tell you, I'm in the throes of it, just as I was in the throes of the nursery rhymes. And I know it's important, just as I knew these were. And so I can't wait. I know something will happen. I believe in 2024 with my paintings and my adult grown-up poetry, because it's meant to be my adult poetry is soothing. It's for going through difficult times, it's for going through happy times, just like the nursery rhymes are. So, and as a child ages out of maybe some of my stories, they can then transfer to my grown-up poetry and be supported by me throughout their lifetime.
Okay. Do you have a website?
In the works, also in the works, but
Okay.
really the best thing is just to Google me, Kelly Anne Manuel. Oh, I have done some reading of my stories on a YouTube channel. So you can see the books for free, 4 of the books for free, and just go to the YouTube channel and it's me reading the stories
Okay.
of Kelly and Manuel. So check that out. And then that also will give you a feeling of what I've done here. And it'll make you curious about finding out more about my books.
Well, I am intrigued. So I need to have you back on. So I want to see some of your paintings and these books for sure. That's excellent. Really good.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It means so much for you to allow me to talk about this
Oh,
and give
my
me the
pleasure.
opportunity.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Well, Kellyanne, I'd say to you, as I say to everybody, have a great day. I know you're going to, by the sounds of it. And I wish you all the best and all the success in the world that you deserve, every single last bit of it. It's been just a blast talking to you and listening to your energetic and positive vibe. It really warms my heart.
I feel the same way. Thank you
Okay.
so much, John.
Well, you take care of yourself now. Thank you for watching. And before you go, if you like what I do here on Tell Me About Your Book, then consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and don't forget to ring that bell for future notifications. You can even leave a comment. All of that really helps in recommending this channel to a larger audience. And if you are an author, I would love to speak with you about your book. Until next time, keep on writing and be kind to one another.